Okay.
Why, is that on the table?
Yes. I'd like to open the Monday, June 26th, Leavenworth Board of Zoning Appeals. We do have a quorum. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the 27 March BZA meeting. Any comments, corrections, additions?
Sir, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as written or as printed.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. There's no old business, new business. 2023-14, 604 Potawatomi. Hold a public hearing wherein the petitioner is seeking a variance from section 8.15.a of the adopted development regulations to allow the use of an existing non-conforming sign after a change in business name and ownership. Staff report, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you said, this is a request for a variance from section 8.15A to allow the use of an existing non-conforming sign after a change in business name and ownership. The location, it's at 604 Potawatomi. It's the site of the former June's Northland restaurant. The new occupant, Stripes Global, is a pharmaceutical manufacturing company. There was a rezoning approved on this property last year to allow the use. A lot of people have probably noticed the fencing around it. The use sort of dictates that's a requirement of the FDA that they have to do. That's just a little bit of background on it. So the existing freestanding sign that's out there is about 17 feet 10 inches in height, and it's got basically a 0-foot setback from the property line. The development regulations require that a freestanding sign in the I-1 zoning district be a maximum of 15 feet in height with a minimum 5-foot setback from the property line. So it's just about 3 feet taller than what would currently be allowed, and with the 0 setback. And the setback requirement is from any portion of the sign face or base. So the poles are a little bit back from the property line, but the edge of the face is basically right up against it. So hence the non-conformity. So we did publish the notice, send it out to property owners within 200 feet. We didn't have any questions or comments or concerns from anybody after we sent that out. If you have any questions for me, I can answer those for you. And Ann Hoynes with Young Sign Company, who's the applicant on this, is here as well if you have any questions for her.
Okay. Any questions of the staff?
Well, I was going to ask about that fencing, but you already answered that one.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty
that's-
impressive
Yes,
fencing.
a lot of people have noticed that it is, it's in conformance with fencing allowed in the zoning district. So, and again, that is a FDA requirement for their use.
When were the sign ordinances changed that basically made this out of conformance?
I couldn't tell you the 15
It's
foot
been a
height
while.
requirement has been here at least since I've been here, and I've been here 9 years. So that requirement has not been changed since I've been here. But that June's Northland sign has been there for quite some time.
It used to be Waymeyer's.
Yeah, so it's been there since before it was June's.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
So did June's get a variance when they put their sign in?
Yeah.
They
No.
didn't? Okay.
And Waymeyer used that same sign, didn't it?
Exactly.
Been there a while.
And that little portion, with the times that
Program.
were on the June sign is gonna be removed. So it's just the main face that's being reused.
Okay.
That was my question too, but I was going to wait for the, thank you.
Would the applicant or the applicant's representative like to speak or say anything?
I
I think you have to go up to the podium.
Have to go up.
Yeah,
Open the public
Well-
hearing?
Well,
just
Right
so we can
after her.
record it, yeah.
Okay.
Ann Hoynes, Young Sign Company. The only thing I would say is that this is very similar to some other ones that we've had to request for variances when it has been a non-conforming sign, for whatever the little reasons may be. Certainly when the property was sold and they bought it, the sign was there. I'm sure their full intention was to just reuse it because it was there. Then they find out they have to go through a variance. This happens pretty regularly, it seems like. They understood, they're very kind and, you know, they've been very supportive of what they needed to do to get this done. So it certainly would be a hardship to have to redo that sign completely, to take it down, remove it, do something different, move it in. So I would hope that it would be something that would be acceptable for continued use.
And just to confirm, there's going to be no change at all to the physical
No.
Superstructure.
superstructure at all?
I
It's just changing the
honestly-
sign.
I honestly don't know if they're gonna have the poles painted, and they may have already done that themselves for all I know, because I haven't been up there to see. Since they've got blue in their logo, I can imagine that they might wanna paint that blue or something, but if they're doing
Other than
that-
paint,
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to
just
be the
paint.
exact
That's
same
nothing to do with structural or anything.
standard.
All we're doing is gonna put new faces in it, exact same sign.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. At this point, I will open the public hearing to no one in the audience. Seeing no comments, I will close the public hearing and open up for discussion amongst the commissioners. This one's pretty straightforward, pretty similar to one that we've had before.
All right, the Chevron over on Eisenhower and Shrine Park, we did pretty much the
Yeah,
same thing.
the gas stations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if no other discussions, we'll go into the review of the conditions. Variances, to authorize in specific case a variance from the specific terms of these development regulations, which will not be contrary to the public interest, and where owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of these development regulations will in an individual case result in unnecessary hardship, provided the spirit of the development regulations shall be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. There are items we will go through one by one. The applicant must show that his property was acquired in good faith and where by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of the specific piece of property at the time effective date of the zoning ordinance, or where by reason of exceptional topographical conditions or other extraordinary or exceptional circumstances that the strict application of the terms of the development regulations of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas actually prohibits the use of the property in a manner similar to that of the other properties in the zoning district where it was located. A request for variance may be granted upon the finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition, and the findings shall be entered into the record. The first one, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. Commissioner Kemp. start on
Agree.
yourself.
Agreed.
Agree. Agree. That the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residences. Commissioner?
Agree.
Agreed.
Agreed. Agree. That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
Agree.
Agreed. Agree. That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
Agree.
Agree.
Agree. Agree. And lastly, the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
Agree.
Agree.
Agree. Agree. In granting a variance, the board may impose such conditions, safeguards, and restrictions upon the premises benefited by the variance as may be necessary to reduce or minimize any potential injurious effect of such variance upon other property in the neighborhood and to carry out the general purpose and intent of these development regulations. Are there any such conditions that Any commissioner would propose? No, sir. Okay, seeing none, and based on the voting, the variance is approved.
We
Anything else?
have no other business. I believe we do have something for July, so.
Okay.
Is that date?
Oh, and
17th.
we have one vacancy, and if anybody would like to apply, please contact the city.
We have one and, another
Another term about to run
desired
out.
vacancy, so, yes, two that we need to fill.
July 17th.
17th?
Okay,
Okay,
do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all very much.